recently my productions, one of the software synths that I find myself coming back to over and over is Softube's Model 80. I'm a fan of a lot of presets, but in this case, I find myself often using the initial sound for the fact that it just has a lot of character, and I think it's fairly close to what an analog synth would sound like, especially what it's modeling. And so for me, oftentimes I'll just use this and really without adding much effects or anything to it, basically just using the cutoff filter and adding some sidechain components. So the initial sound is just something very simple like this. But it does a really nice job of sort of filling out the mid-range role of a lot of especially melodic house type of tracks that I do. And so from here, what I have on here is just for gain staging, I'm starting every channel strip with -10 dB so that nothing is clipping. Second part is adding just taking out the lows on the EQ, and then adding a sidechain plugin. I'm using Kickstart on this one. And then this is for a cover of Robert Miles' Children that I just finished mixing. And so the chord structure is very simple. And by itself, it doesn't sound like much, but what it does really nicely is it just fills out the mid-range, and with just being able to use the filter cutoff, you can do quite a bit with it without getting too busy and just really filling out that mid-range nicely. So just to give you an example, so here I'll play this part from the intro so you can hear with and without it how much of a difference it makes. So this is everything else without the mid-range on the Model 80 going. Now adding that in there. And then once the bass part comes in and drums and everything, it still has a really vital role to play. So I'm going to go ahead and mute it again for this next section. Anyway, just pointing out some of the stuff that I'm using in my production, and you can have a ton of plugins and that do various things, but sometimes it's just nice to have one or two synths where just the initial sound of it is something that you can gravitate towards and use in a very simple manner, where by itself it doesn't sound like much, but in the context of a composition, it does a really nice job of filling out the role that it's supposed to without making things muddy or overwhelming. And I think this synth is a good example. This is not a sponsored video, but just wanted to point out something that I used quite a bit lately. I think with these guys, along with some of the recent updates to GeForce's synths, that's most of what I'm using these days, which I think they all have a lot of character that's getting closer and closer to really, at this point, it's a matter of preference, whether you want to have hardware or software synth, because with software synths, you can achieve all of that with a lot more ease as well. But really, it's about the tactile feel, it's about your own preference, it's about sort of what sounds good to your ear. But I think this is a primary example of something that just sounds really good out of the box. Hope you enjoyed the video, and I'll be releasing this track in the next couple weeks. It's out for mastering, which I'm happy about, and it's a song I've been wanting to cover for a long time. So put my own little twist on it, and it's definitely has a component of nostalgia for me, which I'm happy about. And so even though I don't do many covers, this one was a really fun one to work on. Okay, thanks for watching.